Who's coming with me? It's a short shot. The source now. Taking over the game, put it on padlock. With a better roster, six is the short shot. The source now. Taking over the game, put it on padlock. With a better roster, taking over the game, put it on padlock.
Mute your mic. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. Who got their mic on, man? Who got their mic on, man?
That echo is coming from you, Joshua.
I'm muted.
That echo is coming from you, Joshua.
That don't make no sense.
I just muted your mic and
I'm muted.
That echo is coming from you, Joshua.
That don't make no sense.
Yeah, I know. All right. That's all right. Yo, welcome to the source, right? For those that don't know, my name is Jeremiah Yah. Please say the Yah. I am the CEO of the Source Debate League. I'm also the Legacy Champion, right? And tonight, man, we got a very, very, let's just say, interesting debate. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of interest in this particular debate, man. So we fired up here at the Source, man, to bring you all in for another powerful discussion. Understand this. Here at the Source, man, we're not about rhetoric competitions. Neither do we deal with pseudo information, right? So we all about PowerPoint presentations and scholastic review, man. Scholastic bully in the building. Source champion, talk to us, family.
Oh yeah, man. 7 gang in the building. Scholastic bully in the building. You know how we get down. You know how we give it up. I've been really interested in seeing this, man. I really want to see both sides of the argument. And I want these brothers to put up a big fight. You know what I'm saying? It's the Source, so you're going to have to come with a presentation, PowerPoint. That's what's expected here. And we want to see you guys, you know, disseminate knowledge the proper way. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, do it as a gladiator. You know what I'm saying? None of these brothers are here to play. Each of them trying to take each other's heads off. And hey, it's a contact sport here. So we want to see the action. Let's get to it, man.
That's right. All right, family. So we also try to send out support to our community. If you want to advertise here on the Source, man, contact me at the Source Debate League on Facebook, and we'll try to get you linked in, man. We got a lot of debates lined up and coming, man. So we do have a featured artist tonight. Shout out to the Mighty Hebrew, and Mighty Hebrew got an album coming out, right? Called let me get it right here. Right? The album is called Mind Mental is Never Destroyed. Right? So I'm going to play this brother's music. Let's check the brother out real quick, man. Shout out to Mighty Hebrew, man.
The mighty Hebrew in the building. The mighty Hebrew in the building. Hallelujah. Nothing can stop. Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationalism rise and destroy worldwide. Israelite sovereign nationalism rise. Which worldwide. Let's get my turn. I met a more orbits, time travel portal, the mighty Hebrew immortal. Yasha all small groups, over order, to mind the two, open doors, a raw bar, he grew from the Peru, travel to the celestial true, old school rule, Elohim breeze through, like him bleeds, blow trees on order, rise up stars that are falling, as I fear ours, calm every make calm, sign of the time from the watches, fear no man, sword plate tighter than cold man, moving your L, call my firstborn old man, total moto, keep like strong, bluff and damn, primal man, upright, as he standing one for commandments, 2/3 sleep from the Sandman, I reminisce back in the days, pro champ, who stands praise, wave, hot top face and finger waves, my blood royal being brave, lost souls buried deep in filthy graves, find the Solomon, crystal cave like a saga, the two best got popped from gunfire, Wallace and Court took shots, we went from 8-track tapes that pop, record as they crack, CDs to digital visual, my flow be a serial killing, wickedness your tracks, vicious, dark eclipse signs, for some be the end, ours just beginning, open the yard mind, spectrum, prism, electric, I see visions from your mind, chapter the mind, who I be, man, you I mean, now I see, yo, I bring supreme, team B, playing like Ray B, my turn, all y'all gonna learn, smoking down, like I was smoking sure, but I'm not, yo, be like a Glock, get knocked out, fucking with the real ops, yeah, the mighty Hebrew, 2021, shout out. The Hebrews were like sovereign nationals all over the world. Walk up to mine. Mental was never destroyed.
Yo, shout out to Mighty Hebrew, man. Brother did his thing on that joint, man. Listen, man, always remember to support your nation, man. Right? That's what we're about at the end of the day. Right? It's about to go down, family. It's about to go down. We're about to introduce the debaters. But first, we're gonna knock these judges out, man. Great judging panel on hand. Joshua, man, talk to us, family.
Yeah, man, we ready. We lock and loaded. We ready. We got all the judges in the building. We got the panel loaded. You know what I'm saying? They excited. They want to see a good one. You know what I'm saying? So, with no further ado, we're gonna open up with the first judge, LV. Let the people know who you are, family.
Yes, sir. Can you brothers hear me?
Yeah.
Be clear.
Yes, sir. It's LV Europa. I come by way of Europa Report TV. Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to this scholastic duel right now. So with that, I concede and I appreciate you guys having me here.
Done.
For the second judge, we got Gary Freeman, man. Introduce yourself to the people.
Blessings. Shalom. This is Gary Freeman with Catch It in Your Spirit podcast. Excited to see the debate. You know, this is my first time, so hoping it be a good one.
That's right.
And the third and final judge, the Dun Dada Pro Rizzo. Let the people know who you be, fam.
All right, folks. Y'all know what time it is. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to these, it's because there's no light in them.
That's right.
Folks, this is going to be a good debate. And James, the argumentative, well, this the source, bro. Do something for us. Make it work for us. Doc. So that'll be good. All right, folks. I'm gone.
All right, family. All right, man. So as I said before, we're going to go ahead and remove the judges, but we're going to take this opportunity to turn everything over to the Michael Buffer of the Source to introduce the debaters.
Now, here we have it, folks. We have a showdown tonight. As I proudly introduce, representing the home team, here comes the Scholastic Killmonger. This man has so many snapbacks, he makes the most prize collector shame. Here we go. The argumentative king, James Cassel. And his opponent, he was known in the Ivory Debate League, and he's known for his meticulous and strategic ways of doctrine. I as incredible, I as indomitable, I as immeasurable, I introduce to you all, Daron.
All right, man. So I dropped a few brothers off, man. You brothers go ahead and jump back in. You'll be in the back chat, man. Hit the wrong button. But y'all brothers go ahead and jump back in as far as the judges, man. Listen, man, shout out to the SUC, man. Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas. Tanks on the ground. Jenny Rashard in the building, man. Any opening words for the family, Jenny Rashard?
I just want to say, support the brand, family.
That's
you
right.
See this. Garments of Vengeance, baby. This is where I get it from. He right here with us. Please say the Yah. Yeah, my Yah, bro. I appreciate it. So listen, family, this is what y'all can do. Y'all can reach out to our brother, because he make fire garments. And you see I got the fringes too. So it ain't no game. Okay. So at the end of the day, we the source. We source up or we shut up. Let's get it in.
That's right. That's right. All right, man. So again, man, it's about to go down. For those judges, man, just go ahead and jump back. I got you, Daron.
Okay.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, no sweat. I got you, bro. All right, man. So which one of you brothers is going first?
Hold on, Jeremiah. We need Don in the back.
Okay, jump back on, Pro Rizzo, man. I hit the wrong button, Joshua. It was my fault.
Never admit fault, brother. That's 42 laws of power, brother. Hey, yeah, Don, if you there, man, go ahead and jump back on real quick. You know what I'm saying? Or watch on YouTube, but you need to be present for all the material in the rounds, so you can properly adjudicate.
How do you usually determine who goes first?
I ain't tripping, man. I started off of it if you're nervous, you know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. I'm ready to get it over with. You feel me?
I ain't nervous, and you can go ahead and do it. Not a problem.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we're going to have 3 15-minute rounds. We're going to have a question and answer segment, and then we're going to the judges. Those that are watching, you will be able to speak your piece, right? You will be able to speak your piece, right, in the comment section. All right, James Cassel, man, the floor is yours. All right, to get the clock going.
All right, shalom, fam. I know y'all probably wondering why he in the dark like that. It's because I'm stalking easy. I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be an easy one for you, family. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started. Let me know if y'all can see my screen when I share it. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, good. So first I want to give praise to the Most High. Give a shout out to the source, you know, our CEO, Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? Give a shout out to the champ. You know what I'm saying? Gold Coast Gorillas ain't here, but our middleweight champions still here with us in spirit. You know, and to the contestant, man. We got an interesting topic, man. I don't know how we got on this, but man, did the true Messiah descend from Esau? That's the debate here, family. And I'm going to show that according to the only primary text we got that talks about the situation, that this is false. And so my objectives in this is to establish who is the rightful heir of Isaac and through whose loins would the Messiah come. My second goal would be to establish that the Messiah is said to be Jesus of Nazareth in just about any text we look at, biblical or extra biblical, on the subject. And then third, I'm going to establish that there is a Messiah for Esau. He got a Messiah, and I'm going to reveal that in the presentation. All right, who is the rightful heir? Is it Jacob to the left or is it Esau here to the right? All right, so let's go to the text. The only text we got that we can go to that talks about this situation is Genesis. So let's go to Genesis 25. All right, starting in verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the sons grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So if we just looking at it from the birth order, in typical Near Eastern fashion, what we know from any Near Eastern text you see on the way inheritance work, usually the firstborn son is the inheritor of the largest portion, and most of the time the kingship. That's what we know. So as of this point, because I like the strong man, not straw man, but strong man, my opponent, before I beat it down. It looks like, yeah, Esau is the rightful heir if we're going off what is typically takes place in Near Eastern culture. All right, but let's go on a little bit further. Genesis, Genesis 29, right here it says, and Jacob saw it porridge, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red porridge, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do unto me? So Esau pretty much like, look, man, I'm about to die. If I die, what good is a birthright anyway? So you can have it, man. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and porridge of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Now, again, this is the only text we can go to talking about the situation. And from what we all can see, Esau swore. And we know how the Most High feel about swearing. You know, back in Judges, I can't remember the name right now, but I'm going to paraphrase the story. Man came back and swore the first thing that came out from his house and ran out to him, he'd sacrifice. And what he ended up having to do, sacrifice his own daughter, because you got to keep your word and what you swear. So Esau swore to give away his birthright. So now it's looking like to me that, hey, Jacob is in his right. The birthright is his. All right, so now we go on to Genesis 27, starting in verse 11, because we know the story pretty much. You know, Isaac calls his son Esau in, tells him, hey, man, I'm about to bless you and everything like that. Go get me some wild game, you know, and then, you know, this is pretty much what Rebekah do, you know what I'm saying, behind the closed doors. Starting in verse 11, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father, peradventure, will feel me, and shall see to him and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, unto me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch them. Now, this is important. I'm not going to really go into it right now because I'm going to come back to it later. But this is real important. So I put it in red so it stands out to y'all. Verse 28, we're going to skip ahead a bit. Therefore, God give thee, which this is the blessing that is given to Jacob because of the deception he did with his father. Therefore, God give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren and let thy mother's sons bow to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So we see that through this, Jacob ends up getting the blessing of the Most High, which pretty much leads to, him being the next one to uphold the priesthood of the Most High. All right. Now let's go back to verse 25 and let's look at this again. And start to go from the beginning before they was born. What was going on? Why would Rebecca do that? Why would she deceive her husband the way she did? It must be a reason for it. So let's go back to Genesis 25, start in verse 21. And Isaac entreated of the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the child struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said to her, not something she made up in her own mind, not something she just wanted to do. The Lord said to her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the blessing in which he was given, if we go back, and it says in the red, starting at, and thy mother's son shall bow down to thee, that was in accordance to what the Most High said he was supposed to get anyway. Moving on. And when her days were delivered, were fulfilled, and behold, there were twins in her room. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. We went over that before, but now we see that the Most High interjected here in this situation and said that he's choosing the second son. The first son shall serve the younger. So it's mandatory that the second son get that blessing, whether Isaac wanted to give it to him or not. So she went out of her way because she knew she couldn't be cursed for it because it was the will of the Most High. And Isaac, no matter who he likes more, cannot go against the will of the Most High. He ain't God. He's my father. Love him, respect him, honor him, but he ain't God. All right. So who is the rightful heir to Israel, or Jacob, whose name became Israel? All right. As you can see to the left, we have the charts of his sons, and you can see Judah in the first row there, or in the first little column there, is highlighted. But Judah's not the firstborn son. All right. So we got to figure out what's going on here. Is God just, picking whatever? Or does God have a reasons for what he do? And I think that a lot of the things that Esau did was the reasons for why, or election of the Most High. I think it was a combination of the two, of the Most High and some of the things that Esau did, which made it more likely, like marrying the Canaanite women. But I digress on that. Read here in Genesis 49. Reuben is the firstborn. We know that. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, though thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, thou defilest thou it, and went up to my couch. So Reuben defiled his father's bed. So that's the reason he gets cast aside. So let's go on. Going to verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty in their habitations. My soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor. Be not thou united, for in anger thy slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. So pretty much we know what happened with their sister Dinah being taken advantage of by the Canaanite man. Simeon and Levi felt like he didn't follow proper protocol, check in with the family or nothing, made their sister a harlot, so they went and ran down the whole village. In some other books that some people call apocryphal books or whatever, they talk about how they went there and pretty much, went to war with the whole village and killed everybody behind Dinah. So let's move on from there. But Yeah, let's move on. Then we're gonna go to verse 8. Judah, talking about the brother Judah, who I say is the rightful heir of Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brothers shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So their father is saying right now and blessing Judah to be the one whom all the brothers bow down to. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. Be stooped down, be crouched as a lion, as an old lion. Who shall rouse him? And that's partially why I'm in dark right now. I'm that old lion prowling right now, looking at my prey, man, because I'm telling y'all this easy day. Verse 10, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor shall a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. Shiloh being another euphemism for the Messiah. Unto him shall be in the gathering of the people be, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass colt unto the choice vine. He washeth his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. And to the life right there, behold the Lion of the tribe of Judah, man, because that's who is the rightful heir of Israel. So from which house in Judah is the Messiah said to come? Because we got to spell this all out and show and prove that it's coming through the line of Israel. Jeremiah 23, starting in verse 3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them.
2 minutes remaining.
Appreciate that. And will bring them again unto their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed. Neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. Behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord, when I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. And I'm going to skip past that for now. But as we can see, it's saying a branch coming out the house of David. Psalms 89. I'm going to skip straight to the point, 3 and 4. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David, my servant. Thy seed will I establish forever and build upon thy throne to all generations. And I mean, we can go to Hosea 3. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and read Hosea 3 and I'm done. In Hosea 3, it says, for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a prince, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, without an image, without an ephod or a teraphim. After shall the children of Israel gather and seek the Lord their God, and David their king shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. And I yield the mic right there.
All right. All right. Okay, family. So look. The brother laid out his premise, right? He laid out his premise, but you all can see he went into the relationship between Rebekah and Isaac. He showed that there was a prophecy, right? There was a prophecy concerning the birth of Esau and Jacob. He showed that this wasn't something that Jacob personally himself done. This was something that was prophesied prior to his birth, right? He went into other examples of within the family of Israel, right? And what took place between Reuben and Judah, right? Showing various examples. Man, I'm excited to see what Daron Tillius got to say, man. What's your thoughts, Joshua?
I mean, excellent way to open up the round. James was actually arguing the negative, and I feel like that premise was laid. So I'm really excited to see the brother Daron actually, establish the affirmative now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Good way to open up. Let's see what our brother Daron got for us.
All right, man. Daron, it's on you, man. As soon as you start talking, your time will start, man.
All right, can you see my screen? I'm trying to share it with you right now.
Click the share button on the bottom of the screen.
I clicked it on my PowerPoint.
No, not on your PowerPoint. Go back to the StreamYard.
Let me go back there. Okay. Here
You
we
see
go.
the share screen button?
You got to navigate over after you start your share.
Okay. Before, I just wanted to introduce myself before I get started. Is that all right, brother? Because I've never been on your platform.
Yeah, we're gonna do you got that go ahead and get your screen up and then
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in there.
Okay,
Can
we
you
see
see it?
you. We see you. All right, your time starts
Okay.
now. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, I'll just get straight to it. And then, but first, before I get straight to it, I almost always must say I give all praises due to I, who is my guide, my teacher, my everything, and my all. All praises are due to I. Brother James, one thing I will say to you before I get started, there's a parable, and in that parable, it says, "Forgive them, for they know not what they speak." Okay, brother. So let's see if you know what you're talking about. Will the true Messiah emerge through Esau? Men lie, women lie, the Creator don't. My sisters say this phrase more than anybody on earth: the devil is a liar. And my brothers, take a guess who they say is the next biggest liar. Exactly. But in actuality, the greatest biblical lie ever told came from two women in the Old Testament. Eve claims she was tricked by a serpent. Although this is not a verbal lie, it is an internal lie to self, because you have made a decision to justify your wrongdoing. You are, in fact, lying to yourself. Then we have Rebecca. She is the worst kind of liar. She is a calculated liar. There is nothing more dangerous than her kind. Not only did she concoct the lie, but she involved her child Jacob. Why? Genesis 25:28. It says, she loves Jacob. To all mothers, that is not love. Jacob was easily manipulated. Genesis 27, verse 12-13. Jacob tells her he does not want to be seen as a deceiver. But Jacob, she says, hearken to me, and don't worry, your curse will fall on me. Brother James, it is your burden of proof to show in scripture where your God, Yahweh, Yah, ever told her to lie. Sisters, the devil is what? My brother, if you cannot produce one scripture, then your God is Rebecca. Like Jacob, you are hearkening to her voice. Anyone who refuses this truth, you are cursed also. Let me just hide this real quick. All right. Anytime you are aware of your wrongdoing, you are in fact a co-conspirator and just as guilty as the mastermind. You have thousands of people who did not pull the trigger during the crime, but received the same sentence. You are guilty by association, and the wages of sin is death. What does the Bible say about lies and liars? Numbers 23, verse 9. The Creator is not a human and would lie. Also, the Creator is not a human and change the Creator's mind. Does the Creator speak and not act? Does the Creator promise and not fulfill? Leviticus 19, verse 11. Do not steal. Do not lie. Do not deceive one another. Proverbs 12, verse 22. The Creator detests lying lips, but delights in people who are trustworthy. Proverbs 13, verse 5. The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves. Proverbs 14:5. An honest witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. Ephesians 4:29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. That is, that it may benefit those who listen. Thou shalt not bear false testimony against your neighbor, husband or father. Brother, everything on here, Rebecca and Jacob are completely complicit to all of this. They did everything this is said not to do. You're probably wondering, why does he say Esau will produce the Messiah when my Bible says Jacob is the chosen? The question is, what is Jacob chosen to do? The Western world has been inundated with this lie for approximately the last 4,000 years. And then 2,000 years later, the Christians became witness bearers of this fabricated lie of Jacob being the heir to Abraham, Isaac's blessing. Genesis 27, verse 19-20. So Jacob went to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Are you my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done just as you told me. Please arise, sit and eat my game, that your soul may bless me." But Isaac said to his son, "How is that you have found it so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because Yah, or God, brought it to him." "Are you really my son Esau?" Jacob answered, "Yes, I am." James and all who are listening, this passage alone, he lied, claiming to be Esau twice and the firstborn. Said he done what Isaac told him to do. Isaac never even talked to Jacob. The most blatant was blasphemy, saying that the Lord Yah gave it to him. Can't one believer see that Satan has his hands all over Rebekah and Jacob? Tell the truth and shame the devil. As in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, is there not one righteous willing to bear witness to the truth spoken? Again, men lie, women lie, the Creator don't. So show me one lie Esau told, since he is deemed wicked. Type in the comments, "The devil is a liar." How could you think Jacob, who is a persistent liar like his mother, how could a corrupt people produce a righteous and upright man like the Messiah? You who continue to breed these lies, just know there is a place reserved for Satan and you. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. Nothing is greater than the truth if you want to live in peace. Esau, who is an upstanding son, only sought to please his father, which is an attribute after the Christ, not to do his will, but his father's will. This is evident Genesis 28:8, when he heard Isaac tell Jacob not to take a Canaanite for a wife. Esau never knew this until that day. It was Rebekah who told Isaac she did not want any more Canaanite daughter-in-laws. This was all part of her machinacious plan. When Esau heard Isaac tell Jacob this, he immediately, in Genesis 28:9, went to his uncle Ishmael's house and married his daughter Mahalath. Her name means lyre. It is a harp instrument. And J.T. Bikram 3365 CD, Malatha name indicates that the Holy One, blessed be he. When you unite the seed of Abraham, it is complete and the promise is fulfilled. This made his bloodline whole. Jacob married on his mother's side. None of them were heir to the promise or covenant made with Abraham. Also, look at the difference between Laban's house and Ishmael's house. Esau was not lied to or tricked for 14 years of slavery. The seed of Esau is the line of the lost children of Israel. Notice the way it's spelled here. It's not spelled Israel. You have the charts of Jacob's descendants. So how can you be considered the lost tribe? We have never seen spoken in Israel's history. We have never seen or spoken of in Israel's history. They even tried to change Malathas to Basemath. These are wicked people. Genesis 26:34. Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. But then when you go into Genesis 36:3, Basemath, the daughter of Ishmael. This is hard for those awakening, but the truth hurts at times. Now open your inner eye and remove the veil that is covering your physical eyes. Why would they think? Just think. Why would they change her from a Hittite to Ishmael later on? Because they're trying not to let you see nor know the truth. Who are the promised ones? Abraham is the vessel of faith. Whenever a structure is being erected, you start with the foundation. In the story, there will be 6 altars. 3 of them will be of good and 3 of them will be of evil. This is the concept, Matthew 7, verse 18. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, nor a bad tree produce good fruit. Some of you may have never heard of a man named Nahor. He is the youngest brother of Abraham. He grew up in their father's house, Terah. Terah and Abraham moved from the land of Ur of Chaldea to the land of Canaan. Nahor did not leave with him and stayed in the land of idolatry. This is how the story unfolds. Abraham had been found a just man by the Creator. He was spiritually blessed and given material wealth. Genesis 12, verse 1. Then the Creator said to Abraham, leave your country, your kindred, and your father's household, and go to a land I will show you. Verse 2, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great so that you will be a blessing. This is a fact. Notice it says nation and not nations. Abraham's promise. Genesis 12, verse 14:5. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commanded her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen. He had asses and men servants and maidservants, and she asses and camels. Hagar, who is Pharaoh's daughter, was given to Sarah when they left. Meaning that although you see her as a handmaiden, she is also a princess. Never forget that. She is Pharaoh's daughter. She is a princess. She comes from a royal bloodline. Genesis 15:13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Fact. It says thy seed, referring to one child. Only the male who is born from him first can receive this promise. This is us in the West, America. So what this means is that the initial promise that was given to Abraham will go into the next child, or the first child given to him. All right. The 3 pillars of the Holy One. Abraham became even wealthier, like the Creator promised him, from Terah's inheritance, who was a rich man, and the riches from Pharaoh. At this time, Abraham grew weary because Sarah had not produced him a son, an heir. Genesis 16:1, verse 4. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abraham, the Creator has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Abram agreed to what Sarah said. So after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, he took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar and she conceived. Fact. The promise of Abraham fulfilled at this point. Only the Creator gives life. No one can dictate the vessel that will produce the child. This was placed in the heart of Sarah by the Creator to help her husband with his weighty mission. The matter between Abraham and Hagar enrages a vast majority of Christians and Israelites. They curse the name of Hagar without a cause at that time. They have malice that has been put in their hearts. Ask yourself, what did she do? But honor Sarah's wishes and give the world a child who will help bring forth a holy one, a Messiah.
2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining.
A Christ, a Mahdi. John 8, verse 7. Let them who is without sin among you be the first to cast a stone at her. Hagar's blessing. Hagar is the second pillar to receive a promise from the Creator. Genesis 16, verse 9 through 13. Then the angel of the Creator told her, go back to your mistress and submit to her. I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count. And the angel of the Creator also said to her, you are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Creator has heard of your misery. He will be be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he will live in hostility towards his brothers. She gave this name to the Creator who spoke to her. You are the Creator who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. Fact, Hagar found favor before Sarah. For the record, if the Holy One is to be born a king, he must come from a royal bloodline. Abram nor Sarah were descendants of royalty. Notice her blessing is a promise, not like Abraham's is what it should say. Does this not sound like us and our ancestors? Abram and Sarah receives a covenant. Genesis 17:7. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a creator unto thee and to thy seed after thee. Genesis 17:16. And I will bless her and give thee a son also.
Time. All right, man. So look, I'm hoping, remember the title of the debate, and I'm hoping within the second round, we're going to transition into the title of the debate. But I know and I fully understand that things have to be established and things have to be placed in its proper order. So this brother got some serious charges, boy. This boy levied some serious charges, right? I think the brother did an excellent job on, listen, man, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not deceive, thou shalt not, these things. Hey, man, look, you got to be an answer for this, Joshua, man, all right? Your mother, Rebecca, was a damn liar, brother. What the hell's going on with you, brother?
Hey, man, he made some points. He basically pointed out two women, you know what I'm saying, that were known for, I guess, in his view, treacherous acts. So he has an argument. He made an argument. He established his side of the argument, and I'm willing to see what the next few rounds will entail, what the rebuttals are going to look like. I'm very intrigued. Another thing, that brother, he even poured a midrash source, which was eye-opening to me. But yeah, good debate so far. You know, they say styles make fights, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, man. Look, man. I knew that Daron was gonna come in here and you know, and do his thing, man. So James, man, listen, man. You got some explaining to do about this line going on. Okay, brother? All right, we can't be just having people talking about keeping the law and their mama's a liar. Okay, so we got to figure this out. James Cassel, are you ready?
Man, I'm ready, man.
Let's go, man.
Hey, man, I'm just gonna start off. One of the things he brought up, I already addressed earlier, where I showed that it was the Most High that gave it to her, but he kind of came back saying that my foremother's just a liar. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what he said at the end of the day. I want to know what source he got for that. You know what I'm saying? What source does he got that she's actually lying? Because if I look at the primary documents, which is the Bible in Genesis, it gives me that story. It gives me that narrative. So I have to go with what the story gives me. As far as you, what was the second thing you said that I wanted to address? Oh, well, man. Let me go ahead into my debate because I'm going to address all of it in the debate anyway already. All right, so I'm finna go into, hold up, let me share my screen. All right, let me go ahead and get into this debate, man. All right. So I'm gonna start this off just to give, because I want to give some authenticity to what I'm gonna be pulling from. I don't think we really have too much debate on the Old Testament between me and the brother, but he may not really rock with the New Testament. So I'm gonna give some validity to the source when I'm using it. Is the New Testament reliable? The New Testament has 40 lines, period, that's unresolved by textual criticism. That means it's 99.5% accurate. And that's from A General Intro to the Bible, page 145 by Norman Geisler. So, I mean, it's 99.5% accurate. I think I can rock with that document and go with it from there. Pretty much given some times when it was written. The four of the early church fathers document that the New Testament was written in this order. Matthew wrote the gospel amongst the Jews in his own tongue, while Paul and Peter were in Rome. Mark, the disciple of Peter, handed us the preaching of Peter. Luke, a follower of Paul, set forth the gospel. Later, John, the disciple, wrote one in Ephesus. Saint Irenaeus, bishop of Lyon, follower of Polycarp, in Against Heresies. 3, that's Clement of Alexandria is another person who backs this up. Papias and Tertullian. All these people back up that that's the order it was written in. Papias of Hierapolis, 70 to 163 AD, a contemporary of John, says he heard the teachings of John the elder saying the disciples Ariston and John the elder were in his day. I'm giving this to show that, you know, this is a real thing, extra biblically documented, that Jesus is the Messiah to which everyone is talking about and everyone is writing about. And it's not some descendant of Esau. Is a descendant of the house of David. In Ecclesiastical Histories, he says, thus the elder used to say, Mark, the interpreter of Peter, wrote down carefully, but not in order, all that he remembered of the Lord's sayings and doings, for he had not heard that the Lord as one of his followers, so on and so forth. Just to give y'all some background on that. Secular sources that not only say that he existed, they also validate that he is the Messiah in these secular sources. We got Josephus, who speaks of James, the brother of the one who's called Jesus. This is in Antiquities, book 20. And few are said to question the authenticity of this right here, reference to Jesus from Josephus, which acknowledges him as the Christ. This is from Josephus 20 by Louis Feldman in 1965 on page 496. Another one is the Annals of Tacitus, book 12, chapter 24. He states that Jesus was crucified by Pontius Pilate. Now, this was something that they believed to be foretold and prophesied that he would have to do. Jesus prophesied himself. And it's the very negative tone of Tacitus' comments on Christians, which were people who followed this Jesus of Nazareth, makes the passage extremely unlikely to have been forged by a Christian scribe. And this is from Boyd Eddy, Jesus Legend, a case for the historical reliability of the synoptic Jesus tradition, page 127. This is another person. I'm just going to paraphrase what happened. He wrote a letter to his son speaking about Jesus of Nazareth. And this was probably shortly after 70 AD. All right, now let's get to the scriptures on who does the scriptures say Jesus is. Start in Luke 1. And this going to seem like a lot of just whipping him with scripture saying he from the house of David is Jesus and everything like that. But that's what you got to do sometimes. Luke 1:31. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. He shall be great and shall be called Son of the Highest. The Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. Remember round 1, I said it had to be from Israel and from the house of David. And he shall rule over the house of Jacob forever, and his kingdom shall have no end. Skipping down to verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. Now again, we wondered, who is the God of Israel? Messiah. who is the Messiah according to their text and their history. All we can go off of is the narrative that the Bible gives us and the authenticity we give to it. All right, Matthew 1, starting in verse 1. I want to hit just about every book if I can. The book of the generations of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Then it goes and lists his genealogy all the way back to Abraham. So, I mean, that's enough said. Matthew chapter 9, verse 27. And Jesus departed thence. 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, Thou son of David, have mercy on us. So this ain't just his disciples that see him that way. This ain't just him claiming this. Also, other people from eyewitness testimony was following behind him, chasing behind him, calling him the son of David. Excuse me, the son of David. Verse 28. And when he had come into the house, the blind men came to him, and Jesus said unto him, Believe ye that I am able to do this? And they said unto him, Yes, Lord, because they believed he was the son of David, the Messiah to come that would heal, galvanize, and redeem Israel. Matthew 22, starting in verse 41. While the Pharisees were gathering together, Jesus asked them, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They said unto him, the son of David, because everyone understood that the Christ or the Messiah was to be the son of David. And said unto them, How then does David in the spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit at my right hand till I make the enemies your footstool. If David then call him Lord, how is he his son? And no man answered him, but we know in Revelations he says that I am the source and the offspring of David. John chapter 7, starting in verse 40. Many of the people, therefore, when they heard this thing, said, Of a truth, this is a prophet, and others, this is the Christ, the Messiah. But some said, Shall Christ come out of Galilee? Hath not the scripture said that Christ cometh of the seed of David, and out of the town of Bethlehem, where David was? And we know, due to the nativity story, we know where he was born. Mark chapter 1 says, The beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, Jesus the Messiah, Son of God, as was written in the prophets, Behold, I send my messenger before my face, which shall prepare thy way before thee, which is in reference to John the Baptist. Now, I think the strongest thing about Jesus Christ that makes him the Messiah, and I think that the best explanation of the evidence surrounding this claim by the people in Nazareth is that it is true. And I think is that he resurrected from the dead is the ultimate affirmation that he is everything that he said he was. And a lot of people may say, oh, well, this is just what the disciples believed, or blah, blah, blah. Well, we want to know, was this just some sayings going around, or was this actually believed? And all of the scholars says this. The disciples believed that they saw the resurrected Jesus with no expectation of such. So they didn't have any idea of a rising and dying Messiah. Because remember, when Jesus told them what that was about to happen, they looked at him pretty much like he was crazy. Didn't understand what he was saying. So they had no expectation of this taking place. It wasn't until after the fact that they even understood. David da Silva states, Christianity was founded on a premise that should have failed the moment it began in such a culture, because you know that culture is really about putting down superstitions, you know, what we call constructions of men, pretty much. They real big on that. So in that culture, you know, they would have went and said, nah, he was buried right here in this tomb right here. Here go the body, and killed it. But nope, there was no body in the tomb was found. Women was the first people to report it, which would be a negative thing in the ancient culture. So I think everything points to that. Again, what did the scholars say? I don't doubt that some disciples claimed this, speaking on the resurrection. Paul, writing 25 years later, indicated that this is what they claim. And I don't think he's making it up. And this is by Bart Ehrman, and he's not a believer. So he says this, and this is from the New Testament, a historical into the early Christian writings, page 301. Gerald O. Collins writes and says, there is no New Testament scholar he knows of that dates this creed, the creed in reference to the resurrection of Christ till after the 40s AD. So this was popped up shortly after he died. In Acts chapter 2, we see starting in verse 29, men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us to this day. Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God has sworn with an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he shall raise up Christ, or the Messiah, to sit in his throne. 31. And seeing this before spake of the resurrection of Christ, that his soul shall not be left in hell, neither his flesh shall see corruption. This Jesus have God raised up, whereof we are all witnesses. So this is the testimony that's going out. Romans chapter 1, more Paul's writings, starting in verse 3, concerning his son Jesus Christ our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of God with power according to the Spirit of holiness, by the resurrection from the dead, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations for his name, among whom ye also the called of Jesus Christ, or Jesus the Messiah. Man, this is just unending, with the references. I can go to the Bible and showing that the Son of David and referencing it to Jesus Christ. But let's say what they can say and retort to, this happening. They can say it was an hallucination, but I think that's very unlikely, because you even had people like Celsius, who was against it, even by the end of his book, thinking, well, maybe he is, raised from the dead. Maybe this is true. You had the people, like I said, they said the disciples had no expectation of such. Why would they just make this up out the blue in their culture? It would have been dead on arrival. And then his enemies also are attested to have seen him afterwards in places. So, I mean, this just, I don't think it's plausible. And Gary Seavey says, I have surveyed the professional literature of psychologists and psychiatrists and other relevant healthcare professionals during the past 2 decades, having yet to find a single case of group hallucinations. So hallucinations don't happen in groups. You don't have people sitting in a locked room all hallucinating and seeing something, especially using more than one sensory perception, and they use 3. Because, usually there'd be either they heard something or they saw something. Don't nobody hear something, see something, and feel something while they hallucinating. And this is from the Resurrection of Jesus, page 484. Frank LaCoy says, hallucination almost always happen in one sensory, either auditory or visual. Multi-mode is very rare. And again, like I said, he was seen, he was heard, and he was touched. Hallucinations, the science of idiosyncratic perception, page 25 through 46. And I'm just gonna yield the mic right there, and then in my next one, I'm gonna go into who the rightful heir of Edom is, and this would have answered this question about to who what I would have proposed more likely was that Isaac even recognized that he wasn't going to be able to take back the blessing he gave. So no matter if you feel like he lied or not, that Isaac even realized he couldn't take it back. And another thing that was very peculiar to me in his presentation, he recognized Sarah getting something whispered in her ear from the Most High, but he seems to think Rebecca's just a liar. I'm trying to see how you balance that. Either the narrative is telling the truth or the narrative is lying. You can't just pick and choose and cherry pick like that. But with that, man, I yield the mic, man.
All right. All right. All right, man. So now we're transitioning to the second round. And hey, man, look, the brother did an excellent job, man, bringing forth, going into transitioning into the Messiah, linking in, seeing that the biblical text is acknowledging Christ as the Messiah in regards to his lineage being from the house or the seed of David. I think that is very important. Why? Because when you link in whether or not Esau is David, King David, from the lineage of Esau? These are very important questions that we need to look at, man. So the brother did an excellent job. Josh, man, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, another solid round. He took the approach from extra biblical sources. Very good angle, and touched on a few things that the brother Daron said. So, I'm looking forward to this next round and see how our brother responds. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. So, real quick, man. For those that are interested, man, I've seen a couple of comments asking about my clothing company, Garments of Vengeance. Real small, quick commercial, family. You can find me on Instagram at Jeremiah. Please say the Yah, right? And you can also find me at Jeremiah on Facebook. And go there, man. Follow me. You can go there and check out all my material, all of my clothing and gear, also my music, man. So I just wanted to put that out there, man, for the people, because people were asking. Okay. All right. So, Brother Daron, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm ready when you are.
Let's go.
Okay. First, I'd like to say the brother sounds a little baffled because right before he ended, he wanted to know why I brought Sarah in this. And the reason being because Sarah is part of the pillars of the three good pillars. She didn't lie about anything. She represented her husband the way she was supposed to. The only thing she had a problem with was Hagar after she had her child. So let's go ahead and get into this. Abraham and Sarah receives a covenant. Genesis 17:7, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and their generation for an everlasting covenant to be a creator unto thee and to thy seed after thee. Genesis 17:16, and I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her and she shall be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her. Genesis 17:19, and the Creator said to Sarah that thy Sarah, the wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. Notice it says his seed after him. Fact, a covenant has legal validity. There is a clear obligation and responsibility on both parties, whereas in a promise, one is obligated to fulfill their word. In a covenant, which is a law, both parties are obligated to fulfill or it can be transferred. And what is meant by that is in the case of Jacob, Jacob, and Israel, they have never fulfilled the covenant. They have always been disobedient and been given time and time and time again to get it together. Till this day, they have still fallen short of doing what it is to honor the covenant. So you are looking for what you believe to be your covenant transferred back. Look in 7:19, it says the seed after. Okay, who is the seed after Isaac? It is Esau. Rebecca cannot change what is written. Understand that. Rebecca does not have the authority. If it says after and it is written before, then that is what is established. Let's get into this lying young lady we've been talking about. The promise of Rebecca. Genesis 24, verse 60, and they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, thou art our sister, be the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gates of those which hate them. Fact, Laban, her brother, gave her the blessing, and he mentions her seed, and it already had an enemy. She had not even met Isaac yet. Also, how does she have a seed? Only the man carries the seed and determines the gender of the child. Welcome to the house of lies. Okay, just that scripture alone, it starts to unfold to show you she has no seed. Her brother is telling her there's already going to be an enemy towards her child. Where does this come from? Who is he that he says that? Let's find out about him too. Genesis 25, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Fact, this is not only about Esau and Jacob. This is about Abraham and Nahor. Nahor being the younger, who was jealous of Abraham because of his calling and wealth. Genesis 17, verse 19 only mentions one seed that comes after Isaac. Jacob means supplanter, one scheming or strategizing to usurp another, meaning he's trying to take something that does not belong to him in a treacherous means. They said that he was the heel. He was hanging on to Esau's heel, much like in Genesis 3:4, when the Satan was considered the heel to the female. You're dealing with the same thing here. Also, let me just touch on this real quick. Notice how it talked about the 2 nations in her and how Laban brought that up even before she got pregnant. One is in Genesis 24:60. This doesn't happen to Genesis 25:23, that we find out that she's going to have a nation against a nation. And most of all, show me anywhere when it says, and the elder should serve the younger. To serve someone never implies or implicates anything about a birthright. It never said that I will change the order of your inheritance. Show me inheritance. Show me birthright. It simply says serve. I will employ you to show that. If you cannot show that, then you have lied. The god Baal and Anath. Baal is a designated universal god of fertility, and in that capacity his title was prince, lord of the earth, and the Phoenicians called Shaman, lord of heavens. In Hebrew, Baal called the storm god, one who rides the clouds. Also, Baal is known for his relationship with Anath, his consort and sister. She plays a major role in ancient myths, rescuing Baal from the underworld and defeating Mot, the god of death. Before Rebekah married Isaac, she was from the house of Nahor, and she worshiped the god of Nahor. Bethuel is her father, and Laban her younger brother. Rebekah and Laban rivals the story of Baal and Anath. Fact, if you rearrange Laban, the name in Baal appears. You can't make this stuff up. It's deceit. They're deceiving. They're wicked idolatry people, and they have infiltrated into the seed of Abraham by way of Jacob. The breach of Nahor. Remember, myself told you there were 3 good altars and 3 evil altars. Nahor means snort, the express scorn or disapproval. His wife is Malika, means queen. Some say they had between 4 and 8 children. One son named Bethuel, it means house of God or El. Nahor and his family lived in the land of Ur of Chaldeas. The god of Nahor was named Sin, Akka, Nana, the Mesopotamian god of the moon and wisdom, pantheon, and in the first mention at the very dawn of writing, in the regions around 3500 BC. They believe in major gods and thousands of minor gods, idol worshippers. From Bethuel came 2 children. The eldest, Rebekah, means moderator, to tie, noose, to bind. And her younger brother is Laban, means white. Fact, remember, told you Jacob was connected to white. Laban is his father-in-law. Touch on it later. Combine the meanings, and white moderator or white to bind. You can't make this stuff up again. Esau and Jacob. Genesis 25, 28, 32. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob side pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Key point, Hebrew Israelites and Christians, it baffles myself that you claim peace but promote lust in your hearts. Esau is about to die and Jacob's only response is for his inheritance. How is this moral or just? How are you humanely okay with it? How is this humanly okay with you? What parent or sibling would agree with Jacob's actions? And if you say it or think it, you are in fact animalistic. But your commandments alone, by your commandments alone, Jacob is guilty of sin. Thou shalt not covet thy brother's birthright. Jacob is a treacherous person to even think that way. Show in scripture where it authorizes Jacob to covet Esau's birthright. The only thing was said was the older will serve the younger. James, prove serve has anything to do with birthright. Where did God or Yah say shall inherit his brother's birthright? Proverbs 3:5. Do not lean upon your own understanding. Isaac was only to give one blessing out. Genesis 27 verse 1. Isaac was old, going blind, and he calls Esau, not Jacob, Esau, so he can give him his blessing like Abraham did with him. Esau obeys his father. While he was gone, his own mother and brother deceived Isaac in the name of evil, but brother James wants to tell you lying and evil is ordained by the Most High God or Yah. And if this is so, my brother, my prayer is you denounce this lie tonight. Okay, you can't say the Lord told her this and you call that who you call Yah or you call the Most High, because there's nowhere where it was told for her to lie. I implore you to show me. Jacob is cursed. Excuse myself mean received a blessing by default. Genesis 27:28. Therefore may God give you of the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brother. You let your mother's master over your brother and let your mother's son bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you and blessed be those who bless you. See, the brother read this, but he didn't understand what he's reading. So I'm going to go ahead and exegesis it for you. Fact, Isaac never called Jacob for a blessing. What was he blessed with? Corn and wine. Is that not the white man's dietary and strong drink? 90% of the store food has high fructose corn syrup in it. Who were we told was our master? Are we not cursed under the laws of the West? How do you find favor through entertainment? Who runs this land? You think this is talking about 4,000 years ago? No, this is about now. You're in bed with the master's children, pun intended, and don't see the curse is over. Got my people chasing the bag, but it's over your head. This is not an attack on white people, but who put this ideology in our ancestors' heads and hands and then passed it down to us? The truth will never apologize. Esau finds out he was betrayed and blessed. Genesis 27:34. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceeding great and bitter cry and said, bless Isaac, tell him all he did for Jacob. And Esau asked with a humble heart for one blessing. And Isaac said to him, Genesis 27:40, behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of the heavens from above. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass when you become restless that you shall break his yoke from your neck. Fact, all of this has rich meaning. The sword also stands for the word, John 1, and the word. Matthew 26, verse 52. Jesus said unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Esau never served Jacob. They were estranged for 20 years. We'll discuss what happens when they meet again. This is a prophecy, a jewel. The 400 years. Do you see the days restless? Can you give the everlasting water and it's can only give the everlasting water. It is up to you to drink it in the truth. Jacob goes to Laban, his mother's brother. Laban was a supplanter, very dishonest person. When Jacob got there, he was to marry Rachel, the youngest of Laban's daughters. But unlike Ishmael and Esau, Laban manipulates Jacob to work 7 years free. He asked for Rachel, and he was tricked and married Leah. Laban said the custom was for the firstborn to marry, and Jacob did another 7 years for Rachel. The seed of Nahor was some corrupt people. Jacob gets fed up and flees. Genesis 31 verse 3. And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto thy fathers and to thy kindreds, and I will be with thee. Genesis 31:13. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointest the pillar, and where thou vowedest and vow unto me. Now rise, get thee out of this land, and return unto thy kindred land. Fact: the universe operates off of a checks and balance. The universe operates off of a checks and balance system, and how he treated Esau was done to him by his uncle during Jacob's stay, and he became an idolater. He made a vow and anointed the pillar. This is proof Jacob is playing the role of a double agent in the Bible. Him and all of his 12 tribes practice idolatry. Jacob leaves and becomes Israel. Genesis 31:34. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the furniture and set upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. Genesis 31:53. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge betwixt us. And Jacob sware by for his father Isaac. Genesis 33:27. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For a prince he has the power with God and with men, and he prevailed. Verse 30 says, and Jacob called this place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved.
Time. Okay. Just Shuba, you there, brother?
Definitely. I'm here, man.
Hey, man, hold on, man. Let me say this real quick. Hey, Daron, man, you all right, man? It's like you got a little bitterness in your heart, brother. I mean, you're a little upset over there, brother. You got some victory all coming off right now, bro. What's going on?
Hey, listen, I'm just tired of the lies. It's time for the truth to come out. That's all, bro. Okay. That's just pent up truth, bro. That's all it is.
Yeah, man. You got some pent up aggression coming off over there, brother. It's real subtle, but I see it, brother.
Passion. That's called passion, family. Passion.
Okay. All right. So, hey, Joshua, man, look, man, the man is making his case. I mean, he's hammering home this, these actions of Jacob, right? So, if Jacob made mistakes or he done certain things that were wrong, this brother is laying them out, man. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. It looks like he's trying to put the axe to the root of the tree here, which would be Jacob, and he's trying to present a case for the prosecution. He's put it on trial. So let's see.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, if he makes null and void Jacob, where are the writings of the supposed Messiah? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how this thing. He has another round to substantiate his point, so I'm interested to see how he's gonna tie his third round. Is gonna have to tie it all together, man. I mean, the judges are watching, the judges are taking notes, right? We got the audience, man. We got a lot of people watching, man. So, James Cassel.
Oh man, I can't.
Are you ready?
Yeah, man. I can't stop laughing though, man. I seen how hard you had to reach, to stretch, and pull something out of what he said, man. Because I don't even know what I'm debating no more. If we didn't have a title of this debate, bro, I'd be lost, man. Because I don't know if I'm debating whether Jacob and his foremothers were liars, or whether whether the line of the Messiah comes out of Jacob, because this brother here mainly seemed to be debating whether he a liar and all types of stuff around the fact. But man, let me get to my presentation so I can hit it home, because I said I was going to do one more thing for y'all, because every nation has someone that's going to bring them their salvation. So I'm going to get into how Edom got someone who going to bring their salvation as well, right? All right, and I'm going to start off with here with who is the rightful heir to Edom. But the first thing I'm going to do is address a question that brother had asked me earlier, or pretty much trying to tell me to go somewhere and show where, you know, he would bow down, where he would serve him. Number one, he read it himself in Genesis, where he said the blessing was to Jacob that all of his brothers would bow down to him and everyone of the world would bow down to him. I mean, what more evidence do you need than the fact that they're going to bow down to him? They're going to serve them. They're going to bow down to them. It sounds like the young is reigning over the elder brother. But let's go Genesis 27, because let's see how Isaac felt about it. Did Isaac find out Jacob tricked him, deceived him, and then say, oh, no, let me go ahead and take that blessing back and give it to you, Esau? Or did he have to go another route? And let's go Genesis 27, starting in verse 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end to blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out of the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his son came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou comest, and have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. He didn't say, no, we gonna get that blessing back. He said, no, he shall be blessed. Ain't no take backs with the Most High. Once it go out your mouth, it is what it is. 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. So he didn't say, daddy, take it back. He understand the rules of the game. Once it go out the prophet's mouth, it shall come to pass. So he just asked for an additional blessing. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. So the blessing I had for you, Esau. Sorry about that. Jacob got that blessing, man. Ain't nothing we can do about that. Going on to the next one. Oh, verse 36. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. But the thing is, the blessing and the birthright is intertwined, though, because the birthright from Isaac is the priesthood as well. It's not just land. It's also a priesthood. So the birthright and the blessing are intertwined. That's why he had to get them both, if you're wondering, brother. And he said, thou hast not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto him, behold, I have made him thy Lord. Do you know what Lord means? Someone who reigns over you. And all his brethren I have given him for servants. That includes Esau. So he is Esau's Lord. Esau is his servant. I don't know how else to see that. Last time I checked, that's ruling over somebody. And with corn and wine have I sustained thee. And you said corn. Brother, corn wasn't a term for what you're thinking of corn until after the 1600s, brother. Corn in that time means all types of wheat, barley, and things like that. So he's going to get all types of bountiful harvest, and he's going to get wine. Have I sustained him? And what shall I now do unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, have thou not one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said to, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shall thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. So we know that was the prophecy that was given unto him. Could have went more into it, where he pretty much broke down to him that that after that time come to pass, that this brother would take back rulership, would take rulership over him. But this right here is the pretty much the family tree of Esau, man. And seeing who the rightful heir, we see that Eliphaz was his oldest son that he had by Adnah, and Eliphaz had a son by his concubine Timnah, whose name was Amalek. All right, so let's go into the scriptures and see what we get. All right, I'm just gonna bring this up because I like to throw a little bit of archaeology wherever I can. The ball text from Deir Allah, because we know that when we go into validating the place for Amalek, is Balaam who gives that prophecy concerning him. And this is a text that was written about 800 BCE, so it's probably like about 400 to 600 years after the fact, but it is written. And the text says, the sayings of Balaam, son of Beor, the man who was a seer of the gods. Lo, gods came to him in the night and spoke to him according to these words. Then they said to Balaam, son of Beor, thus. And I'm just reading a bit of that inscription just to show that who I'm going to reference to is a historical person, also referencing extra biblical text. Going to Numbers 24, starting in verse 3. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, have said, and the man whose eyes are open have said. He have said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel, as the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees of linen olives, which the Lord hath planted, and as the cedar trees beside the waters. He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and the king and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. Now we know that they went and got him to pretty much Beor to curse the Israelites, but he turned around and ended up blessing them, because we know that one of the blessings that was given to him by his forefather Isaac was that anyone that tried to curse him would be cursed, but anyone that tried to bless him would be blessed. And so Balaam, knowing better, he didn't do it. And then if we go down to verse 20, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. So my stance here, as you can see, the house that's mentioned is Agag. That the house of Israel's king shall be higher than Agag, which means reigning over them. And that when he looked upon Amalek, Amalek would be a first of nations, but his end would be that he would perish and cease to be. Why would this be though? Well, it's because Deuteronomy 25. If we go to verse 17, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when thou was coming forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies about thee, in the land which the Lord thy God hath given thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. So let's see what happened, because we know they were supposed to blot this people out from under heaven. So I'm not going to read all of this for sake of time, but I'm going to get some of it. 1 Samuel verse 15, starting in verse 7. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, which is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of the oxen, so on and so forth. Let's skip down a couple verses. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meanest then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen, the sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest have they utterly destroyed. And just to move it on a bit, this is pretty much what lost Saul the kingdom right here. It was the last straw. It was the camel that broke, the straw that broke the camel's back as far as the Most High was concerned. And he lost the kingdom because not only did he spare Agag, but he also spared sheep and oxen when the Most High told him to utterly blot out anything that came from that land. Moving on. So if Amalek was blotted out, we got to be like, well, hold up. Amalek was blotted out. Agag was killed. How can you say that he has a Messiah? They're all wiped out. Let's go to Esther 3 and check it out. Starting in Esther 3, verse 1. And it says, let me make this a little bit bigger. After these things did King Ahasuerus, or Xerxes, as most people believe it to be, promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advance him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. And then if we go to the editions of Esther, which is found in the Apocrypha, starting in verse 10, we get another crucial link concerning Haman. It says, for Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood and far distant from our goodness, as a stranger received of us. So we know not only is he an Agagite, Haman is a Macedonian. So is there a Macedonian that rose up and put all nations and subdued them and gave salvation or reign and rulership to the house of Esau? So, all right, so let me present my candidate for the secular Haman, Amantus the First of Macedonia, who lived from, believe, 540, reigned from, he lived between 540 and 512 to 511 BCE. Achaemenid Macedonia, this is when Macedonia was put first under Persian rule. Amantus was a vassal of Darius, who was the predecessor to Xerxes, king of the Persian Achaemenian Empire since 512 to 511. All right. If you look right here to the right, so when I say who is the rightful heir to the house of Agag, because Agag is the kingly tribe, we can see the tribe is Amalek, the kingly house or the dynastic house is Agag. From Amantus, if we look here, and I'm not going to name them all, we have Amantus the First, you have Alexander the First, Perdiccas the Second. Anyone knows that's a famous name. The multiple Amantuses you had, Alexander the Second. You had Ptolemy First, which was in his reign, and this is before the Ptolemies with Alexander. Perdiccas the Third, Amantus the Fourth, and then you have the son of Amantus the Fourth was Philip of Macedonia, who expanded Macedonia, which pretty much made it dominant in the Balkans and unified all the Greek city-states under his hegemony with the League of Corinth, which pretty much was his dictatorship. And then from there comes who I present as the rightful heir and the Messiah of the house of Esau, which is Alexander the Great, or Alexander the Greek, or Alexander the Macedonian, whatever you want to call him. He is the most notable Macedonian king, the most famous strategist and rulers of all time. Not only was he king of Macedonia, he was the Pharaoh of Egypt. Not just Pharaoh, they made him son of Re. They pretty much made him a god. when he came to Israel, our priest anointed him as the he goat, the one that was big horn. And just to throw a little bit more into the mix, let me see what else. First Maccabees, you can see that Alexander the Great was the first over Kittim, first over Greece. This was foretold in the prophecy of Daniel about the rough goat. The king of Grecia was the great horn between his eyes. The first king, and when he was broken, that 4 kingdoms would rise out of him, and we know that deals with the 4 kings of Alexander the Great, and with the 4 generals of Alexander the Great: Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucid, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. But Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucid. I can't think of the last one off the top of my head, but I yield.
All right, family, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So I mean, listen, the brother took his time to identify the Edomite Messiah. Hold up, man. Hold up, man. So look, this is the bottom of the third and final round. We're gonna be transitioning into the question and answer segment. After that, we will be going to the judges, and this thing will be a wrap, man. Joshua, man, talk to me, brother.
Hey, man, it's going down to the wire, and we at the end of this thing, man. James is the argument king for a reason. He earned that moniker here on the source, and powerful way to end the 3-round segment.
That's right, man. All right, man. So listen, this is your last opportunity to solidify your point. Daron Tillius, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Can you let me know when it's 5 minutes instead of 1? I appreciate that one.
No sweat.
I appreciate you, bro. All right. What I like to say first, brother made a really poor attempt to try to say who the Messiah was. He's not going to be the Messiah to Esau's people. He's going to be a universal Messiah that comes through Esau. I explained to you earlier, you're chasing a bloodline. Esau had many wives. So therefore, you're way off in the wrong bloodline. The wife I told you was through Ishmael. That is the lost tribe. You have no information on that. That was a weak attempt, but I just wanted to let you know that. Secondly, as you was reading about Esau receiving his blessings, you kind of either you slipped up or you didn't know you said it, but you said that he would take back his rightful heir. Go back and listen to the tape. I assure you, you'll hear yourself say that. Now, let's get back to what, myself was teaching you the truth on. And we're going to start here. It says that Jacob would no longer be called, he would be called no longer Jacob, but Israel. But then in the very third verse from there, it says, and Jacob. Now, didn't it just say the name changed to Israel, but it's using Jacob again? I don't know what's going on with this one. Called the place Penal, for I have seen God face to face and my life is preserved. Fact, the house of Jacob, now Israel, is shown to be an idol worshiper and not following the creator, but Satan. This whole time, this has been the God of Nahor against the God of Abraham. Most never knew this because you want to believe surfacely. Jacob says he swears by Isaac's belief. Now, his next encounter is with an angel of God. The problem is he said he saw God face to face and lived. Exodus 33:20 says, the creator said, you cannot see my face, for mankind shall not see me and live. James, how can you deny scripture? Israel is just as corrupt as Jacob is first act of changing his blasphemy again. Jacob meets up with Esau. This is what you were just talking about, breaking the yoke. Now it's back in the rightful hands, which it never left, but this is just to prove it. Genesis 32:18. Then you say, thy be the servant of Jacob. It is present sent unto my Lord Esau, and behold us, he's behind us. Genesis, and Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Jacob said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. Verse 10, and Jacob said, nay, I pray thee, if now I found grace in the sight, then receive my present at my hand, for therefore I have seen thy face as though I had seen the face of God, and thou was pleased with me. And he said unto him, my Lord, now know that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive the one day, all the flocks will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over be for his servant. Fact, Isaac told Esau in his blessing, when you become restless, the yoke of your brother will be broken. 20 years had passed. You grew restless, and with the heart of Isaac, he had grew restless with the heart of forgiveness, like the Messiah will have forgave his brother. Look how many times Jacob submitted to Esau, again, showing Esau is the brother of power and righteousness and morality, calls him Lord 4 times, and told him it was as if he seen the face of God and was pleased with him. He tells Esau he is his servant. The exact thing Isaac said would happen. The curse was lifted 20 years later, as myself said before. The true curse is the once slave in America, aka Babylon, the baby lion. Here's the genealogy of the seed of Abraham. Let me just set this up here for you. Now, if you look here, Abraham and Isaac Abraham has Keturah, Hagar, and Sarah. Okay. Then from Isaac goes to Rebekah. Now, to the left, but on your screen, it may be on your right. To the left, you see Abraham. Who do you see over there? You see Esau. You see Esau reconnecting with Abraham, because Esau never left the house of Abraham, because he has always been the heir to Abraham. But who do you see on the right? You see Jacob. Who's over there? That's Terah, that's Nahor. Look at all of the people over there. You have Zipporah, you have Leah, you have Rachel, you have Baha. All of these are the children of Laban. Who is Laban? Laban is one of the most treacherous, evilest people that lived in the land that time. He got Jacob drunk in all manners of ways and gave him the wrong daughter. No man is going to go into a female and not know who he's with unless he's pissy drunk. And that's exactly how he tricked them. They are tricksters. What good does Israel truly worship? What God does Israel truly worship? Genesis 35, verse 10. And God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God told him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. And nations, even a company of nations, shall come from you. And kings shall descend from you. The land that I gave to you, Abraham and Isaac, I will give to you. And I will give this land to your descendants after you. Then God set up a pillar in the place. Hold on, let me make sure. Then God went up from the place where he had spoken with him. So Jacob set up a pillar in the place where God had spoken with him, a stone marker, and he poured out a drink offering on it and had anointed it with oil. Jacob called this place where God had spoken with him El Bethel. Fact, didn't Jacob receive the land from Isaac in Genesis 28, verse 4? Didn't Jacob receive the name Israel from God or Yah in Genesis 32, verse 28? Okay, did this God change his name to Israel in verse 10? And then say no more is thy name Jacob, but in verse 14, the same God calls him Jacob again. The God of Jacob / Israel is not the creator, but an idol. Known as Satan, the morning star. Look at what Jacob does. He sets up a pillar, an altar. These are idols. Okay. And what does he do? He pours out drink or oil on it. He anoints it with oil. He's taking care of it, and he dedicates it to El Bethel. Who is El Bethel? El Bethel is the god of Bethel, who is the son of Nahor. So did he not? Why didn't he say that he's going to set this pillar up? If he's even going to do it for, why wouldn't he say he would do it for Isaac? Why wouldn't he say he would do it for Abraham? If he claimed back in Genesis 28 that he chose the God of his father and not the God of Nahor, but then we show him to be a liar and exposed again. This guy does nothing but lie, but all I hear is a bunch of talk where you're telling me that this is moral. I accept the fact that this man is a blatant liar, and I cannot wait to receive such a Messiah, such an upright standing person, such a beloved individual. Did I not read to you earlier where it says that nothing good can come from a bad tree and nothing bad can come from a good tree? You should hear that in your dreams tonight. So hopefully when you wake up tomorrow, your true eye, your inner eye will be awakened within you so you can see the truth and stop following the majority. Okay? What happens is you have become cliquish with this stuff. And because so many people want to say that this is what we believe, you must take a step back. Let me explain something to you. This is your salvation. Your salvation is personal. It doesn't matter who your friends are. I could care less if I had any friends, as long as my walk is true, it's faithful, and I'm being moral and honest. There's no way that Daron can follow the line of Jacob and to even believe that a Messiah can come from that line with all of this treachery. The very name means supplanter, just like Satan. Satan tried to supplant the creator. He tried to take over by treacherous means. What is it about his name and the meaning that you are not comprehending? I pray that you understand what I'm saying. And I say this humbly and from love. You got to wake up, not just you, but everybody that's listening that is following this doctrine. Let's move on. A seed of Esau and Ishmael will rise in the west. Okay. Now you're going to find out who Esau and Ishmael is. In Deuteronomy 18, verse 17, 18, the Lord said to Moses, they have spoken well. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he will tell them everything I command him. Okay, you see this? This is a whole nother person, and it's definitely not what I hear a lot of people trying to say that was Jesus 2,000 years ago, because the brethren would be the children of Esau. That's what brethren means. Okay, so it's not the house of Isaac. It's not the house or the seed of Jacob's children. It is talking about the brethren, who is Esau. Let's go further so I can open your mind up some more. Daniel 7:1. I saw in the, it's not one, but I didn't put the verse there. Forgive me. I saw in the night vision, behold, one like the Son of Man came with clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion and an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Did Jesus even ever have a kingdom? And you claim him to be the Messiah? That is nonsense. He never ruled anything. That's why in the very beginning it says, behold, one like the Son of Man. Jesus was considered the Son of Man. Okay, but there's one coming after him, and he has a universal message for the world of all languages. Jesus 2,000 years ago told you that he is only sent to the house of Israel. That is not the functionality of a Messiah. A Messiah is universal. And just for the record, my brother, there is not dual Messiahs. There is only one. The word says one Lord, one faith, one baptism. You don't see two of anything there. Let's keep moving. This is Jesus talking. Pay attention, because he's letting you know he's not him. Howbeit, when he's talking about a whole nother man, the Spirit of truth is come. He told you he hasn't came yet, but he's coming. He will guide you into all truth. Remember, Jesus says there's many things that I can tell you, but you're not ready. He's telling you that he can't deliver the truth because it isn't time. One thing you must understand, everything predicates on time. The Creator comes on time, not when you want, but when it's time. For he shall not speak of, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. Now, isn't that the same thing that was told to Moses, whatever that one should hear? So it wasn't talking about Jesus, as I explained to you earlier. All right, facts. These scriptures all line up with a future time and a future man to take place the last day, called the Ancient of Days, and he will hear the words of the Creator in his ear. The Creator's words will be in his mouth. Only the Creator of the universe can do this. Sisters and brothers, this is the Ancient of Days. You are now in the last day. A day is considered to be a millennium. Let me break time down for you so you can understand how Jesus 2,000 years ago could not be the Messiah. If you look at this calendar here, it's from verse 1 to Genesis 1 to chapter 2:24. Now, some may have a Bible where it shows you the dates chronologically. Okay, in this case, it says 4004 BC, where is the year how they started time and counting it, where they should have actually started it at 7,000 when Adam was on the scene. So even before a day can count in the Creator's time, 1,000 years must pass to us. So the 6th day, the 6,000th year would have been equivalent to the 3,000 year BC, which would be Noah's time frame. Then the next 1,000 would be, by the correct calendar we should have been going by, would be 5,000 BC. But then in their time, they wrote it as 2,000 BC. In the time between 3,000 and 2,000 BC, Abraham was on the scene. So then you go down to the next 1,000 years. So it's 4,000 for the actual correct time. And then 1,000 BC, which would have been the last 1,000 years, where Solomon and David come. BC stands for before Christ. Well, look how their calendar just happened to work up when this so-called man, Yahshua, Jesus, Emmanuel, comes up. Now it's supposed to be 0. Now, how is it heavenly possible it could be 0 if they would have did the 7-day theory? Excuse me for not saying this. If you take 7 days, which the Bible says 7 days times 1,000 years, it will be a 7,000 year time frame that must go before everything is finished. So when you go to the 3,000 years, which means we still have 3 days left on this 7,000 year calendar, but they showed you 0 because they claimed this one who was the Messiah to come. How can the Messiah come if it is told to you that he comes on the last day? Makes no sense. Now we go to 2,000. Now we are knowing 2,000 now, but it's off when it goes to that calendar, because when the calendar would have been properly 2,000 BC, because there has not been no New Testament yet. See, a New Testament is when every knee bows and every tongue confesses. That has yet to happen. We are not united as a people. Jesus has been going for 2,000 years and he's not coming back. He told you, I go away and you see me no more. So get that theory out of your mind that one is coming back, even if they told you they're not coming back. He said one will speak of him and raise his name in that manner. Yes, he was a brother of ours to set precedents, but they lied on this man. Anytime somebody dies, you can change the narrative of their life. Now,
hey, Daron,
Yes.
Man, my apologies, man. I didn't give you your you
All right.
asked for a couple of minutes.
Okay, how much I got left?
You got 1 minute.
Oh man! All right, let me see where I go. I
All right,
was
so my
stretching.
apologies. That's
No,
totally
that's
my
fine.
fault,
That's
bro.
fine. That's fine. I'll get through this one real quick. So now you see the last 1,000 years. What is supposed to happen in the last 1,000 years? Satan is supposed to be locked away. So when the reason why Satan has to be locked away is because the Messiah must be on the scene. You cannot have two people on the scene at the same time. It is told to you when Jesus left 2,000 years ago, he said it's expedient he goes away because the prince of darkness still had time. So we're into the year 2000. All right, let me get over here. Closing remarks. What is said is you have chosen a side, not you who sit on this panel as if you are qualified to judge, because the Bible tells you in James, no pun, verse 12, there is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou, the judge another? But we must discern in truth and abolish the lie, no matter what your family or friends may think of you. Your obligation is submission to truth, not falsehood, right, not wrong, and morality over immorality. Do not be blind by power words. You can think for yourself by way of reason. To accept a lie over the truth will always lead you astray. My mother, peace and blessings to her, and may she be pleased with her son after she has departed this earth, said, always be your own man. Peace and blessings. May I be blessed with my representation. I'm done, bro.
You on mute, Jeremiah? You on mute?
Okay. So we're gonna be transitioning to the question and answer segment. You judges, man, you guys got a tough job on your hands, man. All right, I'm gonna make this extremely clear. I do not envy you, brothers, not one bit. Okay. Powerful information brought forth. Joshua, talk to me, family.
Yeah, man. The brother finished it off and got to his third round. Solid argument. We just need to get to the Q&A, brother.
That's right, man. We're gonna transition. Brother James Cassel, are you ready? I believe you started it, so James, you'll be able to pose your first question. And Daron, you will have 2 minutes to answer it. You brothers will have 3 questions apiece.
Okay.
All right.
I think he's on mute. You're on mute, my brother.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, bro.
Hey, Joshua, we're gonna drop to the back chat, man. We're gonna put them on the screen together.
All right.
Would it be fair for me to go first since he did?
That's fine by me. That'll work if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to be fair, since you started that. All right. One of my first questions to you, my brother, is you quoted Paul a lot. And in quoting Paul, I want you to give me your take on what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15:8 about who you claim to be the Messiah. Okay. And last of all, he was seen of me also as of one born out of due time or due season. Now, if you're not sure what that means, let me break it down so you will exactly know what I'm asking. Paul is saying that when he saw Jesus, he viewed Jesus as a man that came before his time, or he was born not in the season of when the Messiah is to be here. So how do you rectify the fact that you're quoting Paul when Paul in his own words doesn't believe he's the Messiah?
Okay, Paul never says, and if you listen to anything I quoted from Paul, it was directly referencing to Jesus Christ being the Messiah. That's the only thing I quoted from Paul. So Paul is on the record saying he definitely believes in Jesus being the Messiah. Now, what I think you have misunderstood is that that right there isn't referencing saying that Jesus wasn't supposed to come at the time that he came. I think it's more of referencing to him being taken out before the proper time. Because we know that prophecy of Daniel tells us fully what time he was supposed to come. But I'll go into my question. Do you have any scripture you can pull from the Bible or any extra biblical source that predates Genesis that would say that Esau is the chosen seed from which the Messiah would come?
No, there is no scriptures as far as biblically, and I'll explain why. The Bible is written under the pretense of who? In the Torah or the Tanakh, it is the Jews. Okay, the Jews are opposed, or the Israelites are opposed of Esau. So why would they want to put in the truth? They want to embellish who they represent, and that is Jacob. As I said to you earlier, Stevie Wonder could see that this man's mother and himself were blatant liars. Even when he went over to his uncle's house, he was just as mischievous. It was in their blood. Again, brother, you have to understand that it's called the lost tribe. The reason it is called the lost tribe is because there's books out there probably that somebody has. I don't know if they followed the lineage, but I know that they're aware of it coming through Esau and Ishmael. Remember, Ishmael received the promise and Esau received the covenant. So both things are covered when them two make it, when Esau marries Ishmael's daughter.
Okay, what's your next question?
Hold on. Ishmael, I think I got 2 minutes, right? Ishmael has a daughter, so that is passed down. When the dung of the father goes to the daughter, she, as it said, was called the Holy One, and blessed be he. You have to pay attention. I implore you to go back and listen to everything that was said, because then you would get a better grasp of what was going on. Now, as for my second question, let me see here. You stated that there's more than one Messiah. Okay. And if you could tell myself or anybody on here, where is it said that there are going to be multiple Messiahs when he is considered to be the Holy One or the Anointed One? How do you make that plural?
Oh, well, because we know that Cyrus was called by the Most High his Messiah. We know that Messiah simply means anointed one. Every king that came through Israel was anointed. They are by definition Messiahs, anointed ones. And the reason I brought up Cyrus is because Cyrus was a Mede or a Persian, a Persian or a Mede. And if he was considered a Messiah, and I'm of the persuasion that every nation, or at least every son of Noah's lineages, would have their own type of messianic type figure. Like Ham had Nimrod, which was their messianic type figure. Japheth was usurped and by Edom, and he rules over Edom and came as their messianic figure in Alexander the Great. And like I said, the Persians and the Medes, and Nebuchadnezzar was called God's servant. He called him his servant to come and lay waste to Israel. So he was anointed to come and lay waste to Israel as well, which would make him a Messiah. Okay, now I'm gonna go into my second question, because my first question, you obviously said no, you have no biblical or extra biblical thing that would say that Esau was the chosen line would come through Esau. So I would say, do you have any biblical verses or extra biblical sources you can go to say that the Messiah would not come out of the house of David? Do you have any sources for that?
Sure. I'd like to correct what I said earlier. I actually put it in the presentation when it said it will be the seed after Abraham and Isaac. So the seed after Abraham and Isaac is Esau. So and I said this in the presentation to you. So that is far beyond the foundation that it will be Esau. Okay, so there's no way you can change that. And I explained to you that that blessing was given to Abraham and Sarah. It was never given to Rebecca. So what I'm trying to figure out when you ask questions like this, how do you allow Rebecca who was not part of the blessing of Abraham and Isaac, to come in and infiltrate it and not see that it is showing you that Esau has and always was the chosen seed?
Okay, as you have already affirmed, nowhere in the Bible does it say, or any extra biblical source does it say that Esau is chosen seed.
Yeah, I just said it. I just told you that.
What source?
I just told you where it says the seed after Isaac. Who is the seed after Isaac?
You said the seed after
Isaac. Who is the seed after Isaac? Genesis.
Jacob.
No, Jacob. Hold on. No. Jacob is not.
That's what I just asked.
Listen to the question so you understand. Who is the seed after Isaac?
You said chosen seed. That was
no. I didn't use the word chosen.
Whatever you want to call it.
Okay,
whatever you want to call it.
The
Bible. No,
you got to just answer. Okay.
No, I have 2 minutes.
Well, that wasn't my question.
Hey, can one of y'all come back in so y'all can tell him to mute himself while I answer? Because he can't do that.
All right, so
first of all, brother, he jumped in my
because you asked your question already.
No problem.
So I gotta answer.
Peace and respect. Go right ahead, brother.
Yeah, Daron, how the question and answer segment goes real quick. You pose your question, and the person that needs to answer has 2 minutes to respond, brother.
Respect. Here's what happened. While I was giving my answer, he jumped in and slow down, brother. He jumped in and tried to question me. So then I returned the question to him. That's all. But I don't have a problem. I have order all day. He can go right ahead.
Okay, so that wasn't your question. So what is your question? We only get 3 official questions. So what is your official question?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, now my official question to you would be, did you not say when you were reading, and this is all on tape, when you were reading the blessing of Esau, when he humbly went to his father and asked for one blessing, did you not say that the yoke would be broken and then he would go back to his rightful heir?
You must have misunderstood what I was saying. What I said was that if I went on ahead and read it, it would state where that after Esau had his time of reign, that Jacob would come back into his.
You mean I think you got it backwards.
Or come into leadership.
I think you mean.
I don't need you to tell me.
No, brother. I'm just trying to say you had the names twisted. That's all.
That's fine. I'm not trying. Let's just,
for the record. That's all.
All right. Cool. Now my final question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My final question, because again, the first question you said there's no biblical source or extra biblical source that says that Esau is the chosen seed. There's none that says chosen seed. The second one I asked you, was there any biblical or extra biblical source that would say that the house of David is not the house that would bring up the chosen seed? Okay, so my third question would be, is there any New Testament scripture or extra biblical thing from the New Testament saying that Jesus is not the Messiah?
In the New Testament?
Yes.
Jesus,
or the New Testament literature around it.
Sure. Jesus even says that he's not the Messiah. He tells you that he's not the one and one will come after him. He says it. And just to clear the record up, since you went through the first 2 questions, I simply showed you that Esau was the seed to come after him. Now you're using this word chosen as if it's going to guard the fact of who the seed is. Let me explain something to you. The word chosen, you could be chosen for righteous or you could be chosen for evil. So let's be clear. There's only going to be 144,000 people from the Israelite camp to be allowed in. While if you look at Revelations 2 chapters down, it said, and then all the other nations will come in. Israel is not even in there. So also Jesus, when he's talking, every time he was asked, was he that one? He deferred it. He never came out and said, I am the Messiah. Not once did he say that. I implore you again, since you asked the question, show me where he said it. A female said something to him and he made reference that I am he. And then when Peter asked him, he didn't say, now Peter was his rock. If he's going to tell anyone, he's going to tell Peter. When Peter said it, the only thing he said is the God or the Lord had gave that to you. As if that is someone that knows he is who he is, then he would have said he was that one. So how come he didn't say it? Why is he all throughout the book identified as the Son of Man, not the Messiah? You know, here and there. First and second of all, when I read Daniel 7, it said clearly that the Son of Man. Hold on, bro.
2 minutes. I was just.
Hold on, wait.
I'm looking at the counter.
I know, but that's for them to do, not you. Now
there is nobody else here.
They're keeping time, I would hope.
You had 2 minutes, brother. You had 2 minutes. We gave you grace period too.
I had 2 minutes that fast?
Yeah, you
started. All right, no problem.
Yeah, you started at 11:24. It's 11:26 now. I gave you a little grace period too. So
11:26. What time are you looking?
11:16. You know.
Time.
Yeah.
I don't know what you got.
He talking about the regular time he looking at.
Yeah, I got 11:26. That's why I ain't know what he's talking about. All right, that's cool.
Okay. The judge is coming in because we done.
So you both completed the 3 questions?
Yes.
So we're gonna move to the adjudication. Jeremiah?
Yep. Great job, man. Great job, brothers. We're gonna bring the judges in. And while we're doing that, everybody that's watching, we got a lot of people watching. I want you to put a number 1 in the chat for James Cassel. If you think James Cassel won this debate, put a number 1 in the chat. If you think our brother Daron Tillius won this debate, put a number 2 in the chat. A number 2 in the chat. We want to hear from you, family. You've been with us this entire time, so we want to hear from you. All right. So we're going to go to our first judge. Pro Rizzo, you there?
Yes, I'm here. 1 second.
All right. While we're getting him together. Hey James, you funny, man.
Okay, bro. I'm ready. I'm had something playing in the background here. So, and I'm gonna turn my camera on here. I want y'all to see this. The first thing is, I want to say to both of you brothers, I appreciate y'all taking the time out to take this very strenuous debate.
Yes. Appreciate you, bro.
I definitely want to say that. I appreciate the effort that you guys have put into your study and being willing to step out here in the crowd and bring your information. So right away, I'm going to get right to the point. Shalom to the crowd that's out there watching the Source Debate League. I want to encourage you all to take notes and listen to what the judges are saying. Hope you have got a good earful of this debate. I want to give you both a point on your presentation. Our presentation was phenomenal. It really was. To Daron, to you, I like your delivery. To James Cassel, love your delivery. But I'm not going to be biased. I'm gonna give you a straight up, no fluff. I'm not coloring anything up. The title of this debate was, did the true Messiah descend from Esau? I did not hear any definitive line of reason. I didn't hear the ontology, the ontological argument that would bring a person to, okay, I see how Christ got here from either Esau's line or Jacob's line. I didn't hear that from you, Daron. I did hear James make the honest attempt, an earnest effort to give us, first of all, the origin, Esau and Jacob, that all stems out of Bereshit, Genesis. I did hear that from you and Daron. Y'all on even grounds there. You spent the majority of this debate in Genesis, Daron and James both. So your sources are equal there from the biblical text in round one. Round one also curtailed a lot of accusatory statements from Daron. James, however, he gives us the biblical narrative. He gives us the base of this whole debate. Starts right there in Genesis. James gets a point for that. Furthermore, when we start dealing with round two, Daron, you gave us more accusatory statements, gave us a lot of fallacious arguments, a lot of red herrings, and a lot of cherry picking. Not enough Bible. You did give us several verses from Proverbs that will substantiate your claim about how lying is wrong, how we shouldn't lie, how we should be honest. And then you gave us the antithesis to that when concerned with Sarah. I appreciate that. Sarah was a great woman. But when you start talking about Yisrael being a liar, you're saying that the power to make Jacob a prince or a son of God is of the devil. You said it in your own round. What happens when you take a woman and join them to El? You get Yisrael. You get a prince. And that's exactly what goes on when you know Paniel. And in all this, you tell us that Jacob says he saw God, but you don't give up, and he gets this power from God. You said so yourself, but you made not one citation about Esau seeing God at all. James, however, takes us to the church fathers. He cite his citations. I won't go into all of them, but he does give us at least some first century scholars. He talks about the apostles and what they believe. You gave us a quote from Kabbalah.org, which talks about the Bikurim, first fruits, and that was actually JT Bikurim 3365 C-D, and that's not about anything related to the subject at all. It's about first fruits, not six pillars. There's no six pillars there. That's something completely different. I won't go too much more into that. But just being objective, James argues a point to say it's not Esau, but if you want to talk about Esau, let us show you where his line descends from. And it doesn't descend from what Jewish Orthodox people believe about a messianic expectation. I wish I had more time to go into that, but the very source that you quote, Maimonides, to be specific, they believe in a Jewish Messiah to come, not from Esau or from a Edomitic origin, but from a very Jewish origin, from the Davidic line, coming from the Jews or the tribe of Judah. You've given us red herring after red herring after red herring, and you got completely away from the round, from the debate subject in round one, in round two, and in round three. People were very confused in the audience. So my vote goes to James, the argument king, for sticking to the subject. I think that you could do a little bit better the next time, James, on that, but you stuck to the point. Daron, you have veered so far away from this debate, I had to write down the title again and remind myself by the mid half of the second round, what was the subject again? And I didn't miss a word. So, as I always say, folks, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to these, it's because there's no light in them. Congratulations, James. So what's up or shut up, folks? I'm off the mic.
All right, family. All right, family. First vote goes to our brother James Cassel. We're going to move to the next judge, our brother, the warlord, Zion. Talk to us, family.
Yeah. So great debate from both brothers. Brother Jeremiah wasn't lying when he said he ain't jealous of any of us debating this, of any of us judging this. I have to agree with him because I really did not want to be a judge in this situation. I really didn't.
Appreciate you,
first
brother.
round, I think both brothers set a really good premise. I agree with Brother Don Bird on Don Gargan. I'll call him the Don Gargan. He was correct. They set out good premises. Round two, there was a lot of conjecture on the part of Brother Daron. Although he brought a lot of scriptural context, I felt that there was some, and only because I know a lot about the scriptures dealing with the Messiah and even the reasons why the Messiah was chosen from the line of Jacob and Isaac. You know what I mean? Only because of that, there was a lot of things that I felt were left out. So when you can come over here, buddy. So when he made these statements about the lies, and that he brought forth he received his blessings or his brother's promise due to lies. Number one, my problem with that is the scriptures always say that all have fallen short of the glory of God, and all are sinners. You know what I'm saying? No, there is no man's righteousness that is greater than another, and so therefore, you can't argue Esau being somehow more righteous than Jacob. Okay, Esau, in his foolishness and his folly, dropped the ball. Okay, now, one of the things that I think brothers missed on both parts was the second son factor. You got to understand that since Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, Cain being the oldest, Abel being the second son, right? And then Seth being the second heir after Abel was killed, there is a pattern of skipping generations when it comes, or skipping sons when it comes to, so there's a pattern. You have Cain and Abel. Abel received the blessing. Then you have Ishmael and Isaac. Second son received the blessing. Then you have Esau and Jacob. Second son received the blessing. Yeshua being called the second Adam. This is a pattern of the second son being called, regardless of any sin or shame of their past ancestors. Okay? So what I didn't see established was a real evidence of why Esau would be considered the promised seed, not because of lies. Certainly every single one of them was born in sin. Correct? So we can't sit here and try to adjudicate Esau based upon his righteousness, because his righteousness was just as much as filthy rags to God as Jacob's. But God was choosing, according to the scriptures, God was choosing the second son every single time. So we have a pattern of the second son being called and being given the promise. And that's where I feel, James brought a great argument. I wish he would have brought up that factor. I wish he would have just said, listen, B, we got a pattern of the second son. Okay, you can say anything you want to say about Jacob being a trickster and this, that, and the other, but God ain't sitting here judging man. God, the scriptures say that God is no respecter of men. So what is it that made the Most High choose Isaac, Jacob, or you know what I'm saying, over the first brother? So this is my at the end of the day, what I really wanted from Brother Daron, I wanted Brother Daron to bring more sources, because I've seen him argue this before, and I wanted him to actually come out of the Quran. Now, when he says Esau over Isaac, there's a problem there. The problem is Ishmael is born from the second son. How can you say that Ishmael is a chosen solely because he's a first child? Okay, that's not enough. Okay, Ishmael is still born from Jacob's seed. So how are we going to choose Ishmael over Isaac when Ishmael is still Jacob's son? That was a hole in his argument to me. And I love my brother Daron. Don't get it twisted. I love my brother Daron. I really didn't want to debate. I didn't want to judge this. But based upon the factors and certain points, the presentations, I'm focusing on the presentations. I've seen some conjecture in Brother Daron's presentation. When I make my presentation, I don't write my conjecture in there. I just spit my conjecture as I'm reading my presentation. My presentation doesn't contain my own opinion in it. My presentation only contains the evidence to support my opinion. So I saw James Cassel. He kept his presentation clear cut. Yes, he threw some bombs. And on that note, I have to give it to James on this one. You know what I mean? And that's coming from a place of love, but at the same time, I'm dealing with the facts. You know what I mean? I don't want to be unfair or biased because I have a friendship with Brother Daron or anything else. I have to come with what I know, and I have to give it to Brother James Cassel. Me and Brother James Cassel, we've been banging since the final battle, so this ain't bias. This ain't bias. If it was bias, I would be like, get out of here. You feel me? So I have to put it on the record like that, man.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. You're saying that even for us to be able to get to Isaac and have the discussion about Esau, it would have had to be a justification for Abraham selecting Isaac over Ishmael, knowing that Ishmael was the firstborn. So I think that's a
facts. Exactly.
That's a good point, man. This debate is pretty much over. We definitely want to hear from our final judge, Brother Freeman. Talk to us, family.
What's up? Can y'all hear me? Blessings.
Yeah.
Amen. Man, first of all, it was a good debate on both sides. Not coming in no bias. Amen. But the brother Don and Zion basically killed it with their answers. You know what I'm saying? The first round, it was kind of even with me. You know what I'm saying? I felt that Ron came with it when he came with the question with the Rebecca. being a liar and Jacob being a liar. But then round 2 and 3, he didn't back it up with nothing. He didn't have no scriptures to back up. He just kept talking about him being a liar. And like Brother Zion said, he took my whole answer out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says every man has sinned. No man is without sin. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of killed that. And he also touched down. He dropped the bomb with it. Also with you got to take it back to the beginning with Cain and Abel. It's always been the second seed when it came to the twins. You know what I mean? Or basically the bloodline period. You know what I mean? With Cain and Abel, Ishmael and Isaac, Esau and Jacob. It's the same thing, you know what I mean? So it just seemed like you was leaning a lot on your understanding. You wasn't leading to nowhere, you know what I mean? The only point though I would give you, man, that you touched on with is how Esau would be the lost tribes, you know what I mean? I do agree with that a little key, because if you see in Genesis chapter 33, when Esau and Jacob met back up together, and when you say Jacob said he saw God's face, and the reason he said he thought he saw God's face is because we all know that God is love. He shows us mercy. He shows us grace, and that's all Esau showed him when he met up with Jacob, was mercy and grace and love. You know what I mean? He was happy to see his brother. You know what I mean? So that's why he said, "I seen the face of God." You know what I mean? But and also at the end of that meeting, you know what I mean, he says, "Let's go on our way." But Jacob's like, "Go ahead of me, and you know what I mean, I'm gonna catch up with you." And Esau goes to Seir, but Jacob ends up going to Sukkoth and doing his own thing. You know what I mean? So Esau gets left off and lost after that. You know what I mean? We really don't find out nothing else about Esau. So you did touch down on points with that. You know what I mean? That's the only point I'm gonna really give you. So I'm really gonna give it 2-1 to James. You know what I mean? Because you need to lean not too much on your own understanding. You know what I mean? You said yourself, you either gonna be righteous or evil. And just like my brother James touched down on, dropped the bomb in the beginning with what the Lord said to Rebecca, that she would birth 2 nations and they would be 2 manners of people, one righteous, one evil. So you really answered a lot of your own questions, man. If you go back and listen to your own debate. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the James Cassel, amen.
All right, man. Well, there you have it, folks. Right? I definitely want to give Daron Tillius the opportunity to speak. And I appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate you having me. Basically, listening to the judges, I personally can hear where they didn't understand the actual conversation or dialogue that I was bringing across. I never said anything about who was first or second in between Ishmael and Isaac, because there were 2 different type of things that happened. Ishmael received a promise, which I stated, and Isaac received the covenant. I tied that in with with Esau marrying Ishmael's daughter, showing how the covenant and the promise meet again. Secondly, when I believe they were saying I was speaking only on the lie, as I stated also, is nothing good can come from a bad tree. There's nothing positive that that Rebecca, nor Jacob, nor Laban did. It was all treachery. It was all lies. Thirdly, when what part was that I heard? When you said, and I touched on this also, everybody keeps saying that the Lord told Rebecca this. Let's not forget, one, that it was never told to Rebecca. It was told to Abraham, then through Isaac. Okay, Rebecca.
Wrong.
You muted yourself, bro.
Thank you. I believe this is my time right now, and somehow has bamboozled the people to believe that she was told to switch the births. And I said earlier, somebody show me anywhere that it says that he is to receive the birthright, he is to be heir, and the seed. It only says one will serve the other. And thirdly, and I'll end it at this, we are not capable of selling a birthright. The creator is the only one that gives birth. So you don't have the deed to your birth. The creator owns our right to live, not us. We are vessels. So when he went there, and I touched on the point where I said, I showed where when one's coveting, that again, if you go into the Israel law, that is a sin. You're not to covet thy neighbor's stuff. But yet he covets his whole birthright, and you guys are good with that. It betwixt me. But the one thing that I will say that I appreciate, I'm never in it for a win-loss. I'm in it for the intellectual side of the discussion and not the political side. And I just want to be able to state my premise, put it in the universe, and then when those who wake up begin to see the truth, then they can go back and see it was already laid out before they even got there. And I like to thank my brother that I was dialoguing with, Brother James. I appreciate you. I appreciate your decorum, and it was a pleasure to have this discussion with you. To you, Jeremiah, and the Source League, I want to also say thank you for allowing me to come in, and I look forward to more discussions with you guys. If it's open, then let's get it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. We appreciate you, man, and the hard work you put in, man, to bring forth your presentation. And we will be having an after show, man. You're more than welcome to come on and dialogue with the people. We're going to open up the panel in the after show. So everybody is watching, we will be having an after show. So without further ado, man, I want to let James Cassel address the people and talk to us, family.
Oh man, you know what it is, man. And you know H-Town do it again, man. I want to thank the brother for going ahead coming out doing the debate. It was good dialoguing with that brother, and like he said, he just wanted to get his stuff out in the air, and that's all we all want to do, and let the people go ahead and judge that. I want to thank all the judges, you know what I'm saying, not only for voting for me, but for your strong criticisms, because, as men, we got to be able to take that and come back better the next time. So I appreciate y'all being straight up for me. And yeah, man, it's another notch on the belt, man. And Jashub, I'm coming for that belt, man. You don't want to give me an L. You know what I'm saying? About that time, baby, I'm coming for that belt, man. And I'm out, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate everybody coming on, man. General Yashar in the building, man, the founder, man. Talk to us, family. What's your thoughts, man? We're getting ready to transition. We're gonna let everybody give their feedback on the show. We're gonna fire the StreamYard right back up. We're gonna open up the panel for those that are watching. We're gonna let you come in, express your thoughts. A lot of people had a lot of thoughts about this. When I put this thing out on social media, I got a lot of feedback. It was immediate feedback, I appreciate Daron for challenging the minds and the spirits of our people and stirring up the pot of information and being able to put a dialogue together and speak on this level, man. So Yashar, man, any words before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, first I want to say, man, I appreciate all of the judges, man, for taking some time out.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
do your thing here, man, with us. To the debaters, man, awesome work, fellas. Daron, man, I ain't know you had it like that. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate it. You know what I mean? You did your thing, man. I definitely, would challenge a whole lot of everything that you were saying, but at the same time, man, I definitely like how you brought your argument. James, man, great work, brother. You know what I'm saying? And family, get ready. We got another one coming Saturday. So Get your popcorn ready. Get your pens and pads ready because it's gonna be another hot one.
That's
Shalom,
right.
family.
That's right. That's right. Scholastic Bully, man. Any last words before we get out of here, man? We're gonna get this after show fired up, man. There's a lot of people watching. A lot of people got a lot to say, man.
No, I just want to say thanks to the audience, thanks to everyone that participated tonight, judges, debaters, and hit that like button. Subscribe to the Source Debate League.
That's right.
On YouTube. Show y'all love, and we're gonna continue to feed y'all with content. Gang.
That's right. That's right, man. 7 gang, tanks on the ground, Gold Coast Gorillas, SUC, man. Source, man, we working over here, son. We working, baby. Right? More scholastic debates on the way, man. Stay tuned with us, man. Right? This is what we do. We try to take this thing to another level, man. We're here to challenge the minds of our people, man. Right? Source up or shut up, man. We out of here.